Duke beat Louisville last night. Duke won against the worst team in the ACC last night. News? It's news. The what isn't the news. The how is the news, right? What, they beat Louisville. It's not, okay, yeah, sure. They're a top 15 team in the country. But it's the how. It's how did they beat Louisville? They didn't answer any or all questions about their toughness, their edge that we've posed for them, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. It wasn't the pulverizing that I was looking for. Use that term. I wanted them to pulverize Louisville. They didn't pulverize them, but there were crumbs that matter. There were scraps that matter. They had an ugly loss. They had to bounce back from it. Here's Jon Scheyer on that exact sentiment.
Yeah, it's look, to become a really good team, you have to play through adversity. And adversity may be injury, which happened to us again today. Adversity may be not playing as well for a moment, or another team hitting a ton of shots. And tonight I thought, in that middle stretch, we just, one, they make runs, that's what they do. But then two, for us, we just hung tough. And I thought it was a great lesson for us. Thought it was a really good win. We found something down the stretch. We played a different lineup there where we were bigger. And I think we're better because of being in this game.
Bouncing back. Better because they're in this game. The crumbs aren't the bounce back. The crumbs aren't the win. The things that matter aren't those. The things that matter are Tyrese Proctor woke up. Tyrese Proctor came into this year expected first-round pick. I'm not sure if the draft is today, if he's drafted at all. And that includes
maybe
the second round. And that,
maybe.
Yeah. And that includes the second round. He's probably coming back. But he is the guy. If you watch the games, he's the guy that has some grit to him on that roster. And that woke up. He's the guy that plays an in-your-face game, even though it's on the perimeter. He is the guy that tries to make you look bad. He is he is that for Duke, and he needs to be that for Duke. And he scored 24 points off the bench,
career high,
and a few times, right? Shook the guy that was guarding him out of his shoes, and get this, didn't help him up. Like it was that he needed that, right? The Larry Bird joke, right? In our day, not only did we not help people up on the other team when they fell down, we kicked them. Now, don't actually kick them. I'm talking more, this is 2024. It's got to be a little different than the early 80s. But you can metaphorically kick them, right? You can make sure they know they can't guard you, and they're going to end up on their back again if they try. Here's Jon Scheyer on the play of his sophomore point guard / not even really a point guard anymore, a little combo guard, Tyrese Proctor.
Tyrese, I believe in him so much, and he's proud of him, man. I'm proud of him. I can't even tell you, John, because he had a decision to make last spring, and he could have gone pro, and he was committed to coming back to Duke and becoming the player he wanted to be. And along the line, you can feel it's going to be easier, or you've already gone there. And he's gone through an injury. He's gone through some ups and downs. And I thought after this last game, to see the response and to see his aggressiveness, one, we really needed it. But then two, just his attitude, his mentality, I think says a lot about him, and just really proud of him.
His attitude and his mentality says a lot about him. I need the team to follow him, right? Every team is, the tone setters are different, right? It's not, you can't always choose, but you'd like to, right? Coaches would love to say, hey, this guy is the one we're going to follow and we're going to mimic his outlook. And if humans worked that way, it would be much easier for coaches. The fact of the matter is it has to happen organically, but Duke needs to find a way to organically play more like Proctor when he's playing well. Organically figure out a way to act like Tyrese Proctor when Tyrese Proctor's playing well. Like, that's the specific attitude I want. Mark Mitchell, let's look at him for a second. 20-12. That is a 20-12 double-double in his first game back from injury. That's something you can build off of. That's a guy that had to sit out a game and they lost that game. And then he's itching to come back with, boy, you don't know what would have happened if I was playing. Like, that's the attitude you should have if you sit out and watch your team lose to Pitt at home. You should come out like a shot out of a cannon for your next game and put up 20 and 12, and that's exactly what he did. These are the things they can build off of. You know, a win against Louisville that was probably too close for comfort, and you got a little bit of a lead early, and you didn't hold it at times, and it didn't feel as dramatically didn't feel like Duke was dramatically the better team, even though they were, and that's the part that you need to work on, but the parts you can build on. Proctor waking up, Mark Mitchell having the appropriate attitude coming out of being injured. For more on Mark Mitchell, here's again head coach Jon Scheyer.
It felt different, and Mark is a special player. You know, Mark's a guy. He's I don't know if there's anybody like him in the country. There's definitely not anybody like him in our league or on our team. And he just gives us, he's such a connector. I can't even explain to you because it's not just statistically, it's how he talks. It's how he defends. It's how he is on offense. He's smart. And he just gave us to come off, not practice. He had one practice, and he played 34 minutes. That's not bad.
I want Proctor and Mitchell to be the tone setters. And I give Jeremy Roach credit. Jeremy Roach, I think, is inherently a little bit more calm, cool, collected, which there's a place for that also. But he didn't play many minutes. He couldn't play many minutes. But it felt like it was a senior last night, Jeremy Roach, who said, my ankle's hurt. But guess what? I sat out last game and we lost a game we shouldn't have. I'll be darned if I don't give it a go today. And if I re-aggravated, I re-aggravated. It's important for me to be out there with my guys following that loss to Pitt. He went out there, scored some points, did some good things. Every chance he got, it looked like he was testing his ankle. Right, every walk to the huddle for a timeout, it felt like he was doing, are we okay? When he sat down, he was rubbing his ankle, like retying shoes and all those sorts of things. But I do respect the senior that was just like, no, you know, if this were my freshman year and we were cruising, maybe I'd take a couple extra games. But when I'm the senior on this team and we're not cruising, I'm going to get out there and see what I can do for my team.
If I can go, I can go. Or I'm going to go.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
And he did until he couldn't, which is exactly what you're supposed to do.
Which he did until he couldn't. But it's amazing. You and I actually had Tyrese Proctor, ACC Player of the Year, preseason. That was our prediction.
Not going to happen, but it's in there somewhere.
You can go ahead and put R.J. Davis probably there right now. But because we knew the game that we saw last night from Tyrese Proctor was what he had in him. Like, that was the potential that everyone knew he had. I know he had the injury that set him back a little bit, but even before that, we still didn't see something like this. And now, you mentioned that tone setter. Okay, you did it once. Go do it again. And then go do it again. And then go do it again. Don't make it just you had this one moment. Hey, we're all good, guys. You got to repeat what you did last night.
And have that attitude, be that tone setter when you score 11. Right?
Exactly.
Not just when you're anybody can posture and anybody can be intense and anybody can win the attitude battle when you're putting up your career high, which he did with 24 points last night, even though he was off the bench. Do that and be that for your teammates when you score 11 on 6 of 11 shooting, 6 of I'm not saying you play bad, but do that even on a more traditional game for your output. And also, Louisville did have some players that played well, but they were still Louisville. I want to make sure this is all enclosed in. You were playing the last team in the ACC.
They're pesky.
That's a good way to describe it.
They're going to give you they're going to lay down for you. They're going to lay down for you.
Silent G. I want Duke to be more vengeful. I want them to be more vengeful after every loss, but it was a step in the right direction. They didn't run in the right direction. They took a step in the right direction, and that's important.